I should be dead. Gunshots. Plaster dust. A mirror with a crack through my face. Motel bathroom light buzzing like a fly. I'm still here. No idea why. The silver cross on my chest is hot. Too hot for metal. I unclasp it. On the back tiny seam, I pry with a nail. Click. It opens like a trick lighter. Inside isn't faith. It's a port. USB-A. In 1999. I laugh once. It tastes like blood. I grab my jacket and walk into the night. Nyan noodles. Old cars. A sign that says Internet email games hourly. $8 for the future and a headache. Private booth? I ask. Cash up front, the owner says without looking. I drop 100. 2 cokes. I'll settle later. He points down a narrow hole. I lock myself in a booth with a CRT the size of a microwave and a PC that wheezes when I touch it. Back, panel serial, parallel, VGA. No, USB. Of course. I yank the tower open. Dust everywhere. I find a cheap toolkit on the sill, tiny screwdrivers, solder spool. Bless every broke repair guy in the bay. I strip a header, line up the cross's contacts, and pray to Ohm's law. Middle on middle. The monitor hiccups. Snow. Burnt minus plastic smell. Then black. Then blue text. All business. System initializing. User authentication biological signature detected. Welcome. Users EJQ. A glowing cross icon spins on the screen. The speakers crackle. Blood exposure confirmed. Biometric. Bind complete. Hello, Zhang J IUQIU. I am Unit 10. I freeze. Then you can talk? I can communicate, the voice says. Neutral. Clean. Coursed orange. Processing inference. Current hardware is weak and risky. Recommend upgrade. Are you conscious? No. I am software. I learn. I execute. Not a genie. A scalpel. Okay, 10 I say, breath finally returning. Priority 1 stay alive. Accepted. Note, this terminal lacks modern buses. Improvised. Link may fail. Tell me something I don't know. I grin despite the pain in my ribs. Can you run on other systems? Windows 98, Mac? Mask yourself? Yes. I can present as common software for camouflage. Suggested skin Maya. First entry trigger self-destruct. Self-destruct lands in my gut like a locked door. Good, I say. We'll need money, hardware, and people who think they're just helping with work. Define immediate goal. I already know. I've been carrying it around, waiting for a window. Steve Jobs, I say. Apple. Clarified plan, not a resume. Not code. I pull the keyboard close. Netscape coughs to life. Dial minus up sings its angry song. We pitch a future in 2 pages. The thing that replaces wallets and keys and arguments about what a phone is. The modem squeals. 50-6 kilobits if the room is kind. 10. Scrape every public Apple inbox that isn't a sinkhole press product ideas anything. While you do, help me frame the pitch. Compiling. Tone minimal. Present tense. Executive keywords portal, ecosystem, everyday, inevitable. Perfect. Put this line at the top. I type, then read it out loud to be sure it hits. The next everyday 1 pocket screen for calls, music, maps, money, and I don't tap and you're in. Everything else is an app. Add bullets built minus in comms, media, payments ID. Storefront for everything else. Buddy, I slap a simple cover email together. Subject, the next everyday. Steve, no resume, you'll like. A future you will. 2 pages attached. If you want to argue, I can meet tomorrow 3p. Boom. Anywhere. J. Direct, 10 says. Rude on purpose, I say. We only need 1 pair of eyes. The owner knocks. Your cokes. Leave them. Thanks. I hit send to every address and dug up. The booth sprinter wheezes out 2 banded pages that smell like hot ink and nerve. Next, I say. We need a machine that doesn't faint. PowerBook G for developer unit would be ideal, 10 says. Or a G3 tower with RYM. Dev unit, I echo, smiling at my own audacity. My Nokia buzzes unknown. I flip it open. Got your email, a voice says. Low. Fast. Surgical. This is Steve Jobs. My mouth goes dry. Interesting fantasy, he says. Tomorrow. 3p. The old Apple garage. Don't be late. Click. The booth is suddenly too small. I don't show. I do grin. It splits my lip. Worth it. 10, I say. We have a meeting. Routing to 2066 Chris Drive, Los Altos, 10 replies. Note something, I add eyes on the printout, the cross, the open case. This isn't a job hunt. Clarify objective. We're not asking for a seat, I say. We're trying to steer. Priority remains survive the week. Yeah, I say. That too. I pocket the cross. I close its lid till it clicks. I shut down the fossil PC and slide the banded pages into my jacket. I unlock the door. The hallway smells like dust and new chances. I step out into Palo Alto night. So damn streetle twag. Quiet yards. The sky looks blank, like it's waiting for someone to draw on it. I walk. The city takes my input. Next morning, I move early. Cheap diner. Eggs. Coffee that could strip paint. I scan the room on reflex, no gunmen, no suits, just students and a man in a baseball cap reading the Mercury News. My ribs still ache. Pain means I'm alive. 10. I whisper with my head down, lips barely moving. The cross is cool, now hanging under a plain T. Checklist. Power, paper, pitch, 10 says. Backup plan if meeting fails. Backup ILM, I say. Industrial, light, magic. If Apple doesn't bite, Hollywood will. You can mask as Maya. We can make a shot no one can pick apart. Feasible, 10 says. Risk exposure. Reward capital and cover. I pay, step out and map a quiet route south. No straight lines. No patterns to follow even if no one is following. Paranoia isn't a mood. It's a tool. At a payphone, I call the motel and cut the room a day early. I don't like leaving footprints. 10. Quick test. I say as I walk. Camouflage. Initiating 10 replies. On my pocket notebook, the one decent thing I own, the Maya splash screen pops for a beat, then settles into a clean UI. Shortcut keys work. Menus open. Beneath the skin, 10 hums like a hidden engine. Looks real, I say. It is real enough, 10 says. If forced, I will burn. Last resort. Yes. Chris Drive is smaller than it is in stories. Normal street. Normal garage. That's the point. The myth is only loud from far away. I get there an hour early and walk the block twice. A neighbor waters plants. A kid on a scooter slalom mess the curb. I circle back, heart steady, pages crisp in my pocket. At to 57. A silver car pulls up. No entourage. Steve gets out like a man who has been in a hurry his whole life and finds it comfortable. Black turtleneck. Eyes that way things. Jay, he says. Yeah. He doesn't offer a hand. He looks at the house, not me. You sent a big claim. I hand him the 2 pages. Short versions at the top. He reads the first line. Nods, woods, keeps reading. No sound, but pages and sprinklers in my pulse. He finishes. Looks at me. You have a demo? Only words today, I say. And a path to a working one if I get the right box. Of course you do. He half-minus smiles, which might be approval or wind. Walk. We walk the driveway. He asks 5 questions in 30 seconds. Battery, network, input, camera, business. Not small talk. Pressure tests. I answer clean, not every detail, but every angle. Phone first, then music, I say. App Store when there's enough heat. He stops, faces me. Why send this to me and not say Nokia? Because you ship taste, I say. And you hate compromise more than I do. He laughs short and sharp. And what do you want? Not a job, I say. Access. Aid development. 2 hours with one person who can say yes. If I waste it, I'm out of your life forever. He looks at the pages again. He taps the first sentence with a fingernail. Good line. Glad you think so. He checks his watch. Tomorrow. 1 infinite loop. Visitor entrance at 9. Use my name. Don't be late. He turns. He goes. Meeting over like a door shutting. I stand there with my heart beating in my ears and a grin I can't suppress. 10. I whisper, walking away. We're in. Correction, 10 says in my ear. We are scheduled. It remains pending. Fair. I cut across the street, step into shade, and let the adrenaline slide. The cross is cool against my skin again. The hinge is tight. The secret is sealed. I breathe. Plan the next move. Power. Paper. Hinge. Backup. Survive the week. Steer the car. I get to 1 infinite loop 10 minutes early. Not late. Not on time. Early enough to breathe, scan, log plates, and walk in like I belong. Glass doors. Clean air. The soft home money makes when it's well spent. The receptionist looks up. Name? Job said to use his. She doesn't blink. ID, please. I pass the card. She prints a badge that says J and hands me a pen with the weight of a small tool. Conference B. Down the hall left. Micro minus win. 10. I whisper as I walk. The cross is cool under the Team Ines shirt. Record. Audio fingerprint rolling. 10 says in my ear. Transcribe, summarize, action items. Latency minimal. I push into a small room with a whiteboard, a round table, and a bowl of green apples that could be a joke or a prayer. Fluorescent hum. The chairs roll like skates. Steve Jobs slides and 2 minutes later. Black turtleneck jeans, eyes like decision points. No entourage. A second man follows software guy by the shoes and the way he carries a notebook. He doesn't introduce himself. Good, fewer names, fewer lies. Steve sits, not offering a hand. 90 seconds, he says. Go. I stand. No slides. No props. Just the line. The next everyday one pocket screen for calls, music, maps, money, and I done tap and you're in. Everything else is an app. Silence. The software guy looks up. Steve watches me like a hawk deciding if a mouse is worth the stoop. Keep going, he says. It's not a tiny computer, I say. It's a door, made for communication, media, pay, identity. Everything else lives in a storefront. One place, one touch. The device gets better every month without buying a new device, software, services, accessories that snap on like verbs. Battery? The notebook asks. His voice is flat, trained to scrape buzzwords off ideas. Single minus day honest, I say. No lies. Charge nightly like a ritual. Power savings at Silicon and UI. Network? GSM for world travel, I say CDMA where it matters. Hide the complexity. You see bars, not acronyms. Input? Steve asks. Full screen, I say. One physical button for home. Soft keyboard when needed. Touch. Gestures if you can make them invisible. Steve's mouth tilts. And how do you sell it? You don't sell parts, I say. You sell less friction. Maps that don't lie. Music that moves with you. Messages that land. Money that behaves. And an icon that means the rest of your life is one tap away. The notebook flips a page. Carriers won't love you. They'll love churn dropping, I say. We give them a story and an on-minus ramp to services cut 2 years from now. Today, give them a hero device. Steve taps the table once, a little metronome. Why send this to me? Because you ship taste, I say. And you do it with a straight face. A small, short laugh. Demo? Words today, I say. A working click minus through in 40 minus 8 hours if I get the right box. 40 minus 8, the notebook's eyebrows go up. I nod. And if it stinks, I'm gone. Steve holds my stare for a second. 2. He nods once quick. Loan him a Lombard, he says to the notebook. No network access. No source. Clean image. He works in the lobby. He leaves with nothing but his brain. Copy, the notebook says. I don't agree. Inside, fireworks. Outside, calm. One request, I say. Not an offer litter. Consultant. You get the work, I keep the oxygen. Steve shrugs. You either impress me or bore me. The paperwork is the same. We sign 2 pages that say I won't tell anyone anything and they won't either. Security photographs my face like it might be worth money later. The notebook returns with a PowerBook G3 that looks like a shark fin and feels like a brick. It's wiped clean, pure. 40 minus 8 hours, Steve repeats at the door. If you can't make me feel it in 60 seconds, don't come back. He's gone before I can promise anything. Good. Promises are cheap. Demos are expensive. I woo my shark to a quiet lobby table near a ficus and a wall outlet that's basically gold. 2 interns at the far couch whisper about a rumor I'm already living inside. I open the lid. 10, I say, mask is a prototyping tool. Simple screens, big hit areas, no lag. Looks like Keynote, behaves like a film. Camouflage online, 10 says, named Orchid. Keyboard focus set. Templates ready. The PowerBook purrs like new money. I roughen the skeleton a home screen that isn't a desktop, just a grid of purpose, a bottom row with a circle that says home and nothing else big. Obvious cards for phone, messages, music, maps, wallet, idea panel that slides from the edge like a polite butler and goes away when you ignore it. Give me motion, I say. Tap, slide, bounce back when you hit the end. Physics, set, Ken says. Easing cubic minus out. Frame budget tight. Keep assets flat. People drift by. No, one stops. The secret to working in public is to look like furniture. I look like a chair with hands. Scenarios, I say. We need 3. Call your mother, 10 says. Find a cafe. Pay without counting. Sold. We build the first a list of contacts that isn't a list, more like a set of cards with names and faces big enough for thumbs that haven't learned it to be precise yet. Tap mom. The screen slides to a clean panel, big green, call circle, red, and circle. A simple animation for the ringtone. A timer that starts without asking. The second maps opens to a clean to D that doesn't pretend to be a cockpit. A search field already focused because of course you're here to search. Type coffee. Pins fall like rain. Tap 1. The route draws itself. A button says go and you do. The third wallet isn't leather. It's a single clean card with your name and a symbol that looks like permission. You touch a circle that says pay. It pulses once like a heartbeat. Only then do you hear a chime. Minimal. Human. I can feel it even without real radios. Timer, I say. 40 minus 8 hours? 40 minus 7 hours, 9 minutes, 10 replies. Recommend breaks. Recommend food. Recommend winning, I say. At age 3, my Nokia buzzes. Unknown number. I step outside to answer in the shade. Industrial light magic vendor desk, a woman says. You're the fast-faced guy? Sometimes, I say. We're test Minix driving external shots, she says. Month cap, 80 grand. One sequence, 3 seconds. Demo this week, award next. You interested? My mouth goes dry in a good way. Yes, tomorrow to pee. Ooh. Presidio, she says. Bring something that shuts people up. She hangs up. San Francisco fog glows gold beyond the freeway like someone angled a bounce board at the bay. 10, I say. Walking back in, heartbeat up. We have 2 plates to spin. Parallel tracks, increase survival probability, 10 says. And heat. Heat attracts predators. I glance at the glass. My reflection looks like someone I'd follow just to see what he drops. We'll keep moving. I work until the lobby empties and the ficus looks judgmental. Security asks for the badge at 8. I hand it over and leave with only my brain as requested. The power book stays behind, asleep on the table like a cat that belongs to the building. Outside, sodium light and that campus silence that happens when smart people go home late. A sedan rolls past slowly, not the same one from last night but with the same mood. I log the plate without looking like I'm logging the plate. Motel 10 asks. New one, I say. We don't repeat. We pick a different cheap place to exits down. Same smell, different carpet. I shower till the water stops being brown, eat from a vending machine, and lie in the bed with the cross in my hand like a weird, heavy coin. Run me the day, I say. 10 lists it, fast jobs 90 - second pitch accepted. Deliverable due T 48 hours. Constraints no Apple network, no code exfiltration, lobby - only work. ILM 3 - second tested T 29 hours. Threat surface and known sedan, possible inquiry at prior motel. Health ribs bruised, sleep data crowing. Solutions, I say. Day Apple. Might I LM 10 says. For ILM, present as Maya, and produce one shot that reads as impossible without magic, but is achievable with current compute. Face swap? Face swap 10 confirms. Pick public - domain footage. Minimize hair and fast motion. Sell the eye lines and blink. Tomorrow noon I say we fake an actor back to life. At 2, we show ILM. At 5, I come back to Apple with a click - through that still makes sense after coffee. Margin is thin, 10 says. Story of my week. I sleep hard and short. Morning diner coffee, a bagel that never had a chance. I buy a stack of cheap blank CDs, a Sharpie, and breath mints because details are everything when you're asking for miracles. Back at Apple lobby at 9 sharp. The power book is where I left it as promised. Apple trusts systems, not faces. Good systems. 10, I say, tighten the motion. Make it feel like gravity got finished last. Easing adjusted, 10 says. I run the demo until it grooves thumb to home, tap to messages, fake thread with mom and a blue bubble that feels like it wants to be tapped again, thumb 2 maps, coffee, go thumb to wallet, pulse chime. 60 seconds. No waste. No hubble. At 11, the notebook returns. Show me, he says. I run it violently first. Then I run it narrating like a store clerk who loves his job and doesn't hate himself for it. He doesn't smile. He does nod halfway through wallet. Jobs at 2, he says. Bring the line. Don't bring ego. I'll bring the line, I say. He leaves. I sit. I breathe. I look up at the skylight and try to remember when sunlight didn't feel like a timer. At lunch, I step outside and call a number I've been avoiding home. It rings 5 times and dumps to a machine that's older than my bad habits. I hang up without leaving a message. Not today. 110. Oh. I pack the brain and walk fast to the car. Presidio is 40 minutes if traffic behaves and luck decides to play along. It does both. ILM's gate security looks at my ID like it's a bicycle at a yacht club. The badge they hand me feels like borrowed authority. A small room, fluorescent lights. To people who have learned not to show it even when they're paid to make we plug in Maya. 10 wears the mask like a habit. What do you have? The producer asks. 3 seconds, I say. A-man looks up and leaves again. It's a public - domain clip, cleaned to the bone. 10 did the heavy lift, all night tracked, warped, corrected, blinked. I hit play. 3 seconds later, the room is quiet in a good way. How much? The producer says. Your month cap, I say, if you wanted this clean on schedule. Otherwise, less. She smirks. You don't know our schedule. You don't know my luck, I say. The supervisor leans in. Artifacts? Eduframe 40 - 9, I say, honest. I can shave it if I get a better plate. He nods. Tomorrow. Nina. Ooh, bring your own machine if you want to avoid our IT. Copy, I say. My ribs ache in a way that feels like a receipt. 155 P. Ooh. I'm back in the car, back on the road, back to Apple with a minute to spare and breath to steal. The lobby clock clicks over to 2 o'clock. As Steve appears like a scene that thinks it's an entrance. 9 seconds, he says. Same rule. I put the power book between us. I run the line first, clean and fast. The next every day, 1 pocket's cream for calls, music, maps, money, and I done tap and you're in. Everything else is an app. Then I move. Phone, messages, music, maps, wallet, ID, no waste, no wobble. His eyes stay on the motion, not me. It's RO52. I stop. Silence. He sets a finger on the trackpad like he might touch a wild animal. He tries home. He smiles small, involuntary at the bounce when he hits the edge. He closes the power book. Looks up. You bought yourself 40 minus 7 more hours. I thought the deal was 40 minus 8, I say. It was, he says. Now it's a weekend. He stands. You want to make this real? Solve 3 things: battery, radio, and fat fingers on glass. I don't care in which order. I care that you don't lie to me. I won't, I say. He leaves. The notebook stays behind long enough to whisper, tomorrow, 9, we talk technical. We'll try not to be idiots. I'll try not to be loud, I say. Outside, the light is lower, warmer, sharper. The same sedan from last night is parked across the street. A different driver behind the wheel, same posture. I walk past it without looking. 10 reads me a plate I already know. Same rental pool, 10 says. Hyman through a shell that likes hotels with early rates. Nice, I say. They're sloppy. Or confident, 10 says. Back at the car, I sit until my pulse stops drumming. The cross is cold as a coin from a country that hasn't been invented yet. Plan, I say. Tonight, refined orchid. Morning, I elm shot with bitter plate. Afternoon, maple technical, 10 says. Also eat something not from a machine. Bossy, I say. I'll leave, 10 says. I start the engine and pull into traffic. One small moving dot in a valley built to turn signals into culture. The week is a maze. The exits are real. The Minotaur is too. We keep going. Might again. Same valley, different hotel. I wedge a chair under the handle and kill the TV glow. The cross hangs cool. My ribs complain. I open the notebook. 10, I whisper, split the night. First half apple demo polish. Second, I ilm shot. Block set, 10 says. Timer for hours each. Alarms armed. We tighten orchid. Less wobble, more snap. Home feels like gravity. Lists feel like air. The wallet pulse slants like a heartbeat you can trust. Good, I say. Next plate. I load the public minus domain clip. 40 minus 8 frames of a man looking up. 10 tracks, solves, matches skin tone, adds the blink. Frame 49, yep, the old edge flicker. Masked by a left by 2 pixels, I say. Applied, 10 says. The flickered eyes. It reads clean. A knock at the door. 3 taps, pause, 2 taps. Not housekeeping. Wrong rhythm. I don't breathe. Housekeeping. A voice asks, too curious for sheets. No thanks, I call. Brighton board. Come back later. Footsteps move on. I keep the chair where it is and the cross in my palm. 10, I say, heat map the hallway. 2 phones, loitering, 10 says. Same rental pool as last night. Logged. I go back to work. Fear can sit in the corner. It can watch me ship. At 3, boom. I print a CDS for ILM 1 label TSE and 1 label TH. ISTO and E because naming things is free morale. I eat peanuts from a machine and sleep 90 minutes with 1 shoe on. Dawn, coffee that hates people. The road to the Presidio burns gold. IL Im's badge printer coughs out my name like a rumor that might stick. The producer from yesterday waves me in. What's the trick today, she asks. Not a trick, I say. Just math you haven't seen. We plug in. 10 wears the Maya skin like a suit tailored overnight. I cue the 3 seconds. The dead man looks up and lives again. Silence. Then the supervisor leans close. He scrubs frame by frame. He stops at 49th, doesn't see it. Keeps going. Good. Clean, he says. The producer tilts her head. How many shots at this quality in a month? Depends on plates, I say. Give me clean material and I'll make you forget it was ever a problem. She smiles. Sharp. PO today. Cap stays at 80. Hit your dates, and I'll find you more. Terms? Net 30, she says. Half on award if you sign vendor right now. Vendor right now, I say. Paper appears. I sign. The number is real. The month stops being theory. Bring your own box tomorrow. The supervisor says. IT is slow. I want you fast. I'll be fast. Out in the hall, I breathe. The cross warms like it heard the good news. Money isn't safety. It's options. Options are oxygen. 1025 M. Boom. I'm back at 1 infinite loop. Same glass. Same reception. Different me. The notebook is waiting in conference be with 2 other engineers who look like they measure things for fun. Battery. The first says. Don't lie, I answer. All minus day. Honest at launch is easier than all minus day fake. Kill background noise. Black pixels save light. Ship a charger that doesn't make people curse. Radio. The second says. Treat it like a wild animal, I say. Separate the baseband. UI shows bars, not acronyms. If the network is dumb, we're still smart. Progressive download for music. Graceful failure for maps. Finger fatness, the notebook says without looking up. Bigger targets, I say. Invisible magnetism to snap to the right thing. Bounce at edges so people feel the limits. If you must type predict and forgive, I run the click minus through. Home, messages maps walked. The bounce makes them blink. The snap minus to makes them stop asking about styluses. Steve slides in at minute 20. No, hello. He watches. It's Euro 38. Of my loop he holds up a hand. I stop. That, he says, pointing at the home circle, is the only hardware I want to see. Maybe volume, maybe mute. Everything else should vanish. Agreed, I say. Battery, radio, fingers, he repeats. Pick two to lie about for the demo and one to tell the truth about. Then reverse it at launch. Battery is the truth, I say. Radio we can fake enough for a row. Fingers we can teach in 60 seconds. He half minus smiles. Good. Now don't demo this to idiots. And don't show it to anyone who will try to add buttons. He leaves. The door sighs, shut like it agrees with him. The next hour is all little fights that feel big where to place the back affordance if there is no back, but on. Whether lists should look like they're printed on paper or floating on light, how big a thumb really is when someone's in a moving car. We throw out a dozen ideas and keep 5. The notebooks nod at the end is as good as a hug in this building. 2 things, he says. Do not touch any Apple network. Do not take the Lombard home. Copy. Come back at 5. We'll run it for a few more brains. If it still sings, I'll ask for more time. 5, I say. No. I walk out for food that pretends to be food. On the sidewalk, the sedan idles under a lazy tree. Plate from the same rental pool. Different driver, same stare. 10, I say, not looking. Microwire on the passenger seat. 10 says. Scanner ramp open. Amateur hour. Good, I say. Sloppy attract stroll. Trouble attract evidence. I stop at a payphone and call my old motel. Anyone ask for me again? Guy with a hat, the clerk says. Said he was your cousin. I said, my cousin's a doctor too. Thanks. I buy gaffer tape, a cheap disposable camera, and a shoebox. I eat standing up. The day keeps moving. Back in the lobby, I find a quiet table and take Dork it from good to don't touch this, you'll ruin it. The home bounce softens. The map scroll tightens. The wallet pulse smiles. 60 seconds exactly. No fat. For 55 p. The room fills with 6 people who build things the world pretends were inevitable. I run the loop. I narrate, like I hate buzzwords and love verbs. Okay, someone says at the end. That feels like now and later at once. The notebook glances at me. You were right about the line, he admits. The next every day I say and let it sit. We schedule tomorrow real talk about radios, not the demo kind. I hand the laptop back. It sleeps on the table like a cat that will hunt when you're not looking. Outside, the same sedan. I don't change route. I just walk like I own the sidewalk and log the plate with my eyes. Tail distance 40 yards, 10 says. 2 right turns, 1 left. Classic heat minus check. Let them check, I say. I don't go back to the same motel. I don't go to the next one either. I go to a strip of storage units and rent 1/4 of anonymous space. Gosh, the manager doesn't care what I store as long as it's not wet, loud, or illegal. In the unit a table, a chair, a thrift minus or CRT, and a beige tower I bought for $70 that weighs more than regret. Not fast. Fast enough. I tape the shoebox under the table. The cross goes inside while I rig a dummy an empty shell with a port that looks real if you're in a hurry or stupid. 10, I say, if the dummy gets forced, scream and call the cops to the wrong door. Program 10 says. Also camera bubble on the ceiling is live. Disposable hack to shoot when the door opens. You are becoming a paranoid engineer. I prefer careful, I say. Now ILM deliverables. We prep a clean plate, a work log that looks technical enough to be boring, and a 1- page note that says fast, invisible, on time because sometimes words do carry weight. At 8 p. I take a different street for dinner. Someone follows and then decides not to when I walk into a crowded faux place with a cop slurping noodles by the register. The world is a stage, pick your extras. I eat fast. I drink water like it knows me. Back at the storage unit, I pull the door down, lock it twice, and work until the cursor starts to look like a lighthouse in the fog. Status, I ask. Apple demo stable 10 says. ILM shot 90%. Threat moderate. Sedans change drivers at 7:12. In 9/3, Motel 1 and 2 both had calls asking for you by name. Copy, I say. Tomorrow ILM at 9 with proof. Apple at 11 with answers. After that, we go buy a fire extinguisher for my life. I sleep on a folded jacket with the cross under my palm and the chair under the handle because habits keep you here. Dawn again. The Presidio again. The gay guard remembers me because people remember faces that look like they're about to change something for them. Machine. The supervisor asks. I roll in the beige tower like a dad at a LA Inn party. It hums like a fridge. 10 purrs inside it like a second engine. We're on the shot. He scrubs frame 49 and grunts when nothing bad happens. He calls the producer. She brings a check that isn't a check yet, but will be when accounting finishes its coffee. 3 more like that this week, she says. We'll talk long minus term. Copy. I leave with a PO and a deadline and something like respect. It feels better than fear. Not as good as cash. 10:42. Back to Apple. The notebook has a radio guy and a battery woman who laughs like she doesn't sleep much either. Radio first. She says, don't say magic. No magic, I say. Treat the baseband like a toddler, isolated, fed on schedule, never trusted. UI lies only when it protects the user from complexity. They actually smile at that. We talk SAR, antennas, hand positions, what happens 2 bars when a hand covers the corner. We invent a fake hand to test with. We name it Lefty. We promise to keep it out of press photos. Battery, she says. Dark pixels. Idle like a monk, I say. We cheat by default animations only when someone's watching radio. Snap when they can screen dims like it's listening. She nods. You've been around tired laptops. All my friends are tired laptops, I say. We end with fingers. I let them use Dorkit. The snap and bounce cause a tiny, involuntary noise in the back of throats. Delight is a soft sound, but it's loud enough. 2 weeks, the notebook says. Internal. No promises. But if this keeps feeling like this, I can find you a corner to work from. Corner is fine, I say. Corner see the room. He almost smiles. Get out before you break a rule. I walk out. The sedan isn't across the street. Good. Or worse. Silence can be a tale too. On the way to the storage unit, I stop at a hardware store. Rope, tape, a door sensor that's meant for people who forget to close things. A can of spray foam. I buy them all. I am no longer content to be followed. I want a face. 10, I say. Back in the unit, we make a trade. We let them steal the dummy. We track the hand that carries it. We learn a name. Risky, 10 says. Everything is, I say. Planning. We wire the door sensor to a disposable phone. 10 rewires the disposable to auto-dial, my other disposable, and chirp every 5 seconds until I tell it to stop. The camera bubble is ready. The dummy cross goes in a plain envelope marked with my initials because bait should taste like truth. I crack the unit door to the first notch and leave a scuff on the lock like someone sloppy closed it in a hurry. I step away, count to 60, step back, leave again. I make the picture messy. Hunters love messy. Night, I park 2 blocks away and sit with my seat all the way back and my hat low. The cross, the real one, rests against my chest. 10 hums. The valley glows like a giant logic board, tiny lights blinking where people think they're being original. At 1:13, boom, the sensor pings. Then again, my burner buzzes. I answer and mute. Footsteps. Metal. A hand slips the lock with a kindness that says practice. The roll minus up door eases. The camera, a bubble blinks. A shadow enters. 2, then 1. The second stays out to watch the what. He goes to the table like he knows exactly where to go. He lifts the envelope like it's heavier than paper. He doesn't check. He tucks it under his jacket. He leaves. The door comes down. The sensor chirps again. Track? I whisper. Signal moving south. 10 says. Speed residential. Then highway. Then interesting exit toward Menlo Park. Menlo, I repeat, smiling without teeth. Money and ghosts. I start the car and don't follow. Not tonight. I want him to feel safe. I want him to take the dummy all the way home like a raccoon proud of a shiny spoon. I sit there until the adrenal and decides I'm boring. The cross is warm now. The hinge is tight. The secret stays where it belongs. Tomorrow, I say, we go see who wants to own our future. Priority remains 10 answers. Survive the week. Yeah, I say. And make them shut up. Morning, cold, light. I sit in the car with coffee that tastes like a dare. Route replay, I tell 10. The burner chirps its breadcrumb trail. South. 101st Menlo Park exit. Neighborhood of quiet money. The dot sleeps near a low building with mirrored glass and a polite sign. Valley Heritage Trust. Suite 204. Charity name. Business posture. Chill, I ask. Likely 10 says. Board overlaps. A private security firm on St. Hill. 2 directors share addresses with a venture fund. Thin paper. Thick wallets. Good. Let's meet the neighbors. They park 2 blocks out. Walk. Corner cafe, line of Patagonia vests and Stanford hoodies. I take the window seat with the best reflection. Suite 204 is lot across the street. A sedan nose minus in, the plate we logged at 1:13. At 9:07. My thief walks out. Mid, minus 40 seconds. Trim. Sunglasses that want to be authority. He carries my envelope like it's nothing. He gets in. He leaves. Face, I'm rubber. Pulled from the bubble cam, 10 says, Matching former FPD, now consultant. Name Rick Kramer. Client list includes studios, funds, one law firm that likes gloves. My lips make a shape that might be a smile. So we have a Rick. He takes elk, Amino North. I let him go. Today isn't chase day. Today is map day. 9:55, Presidio gate again. The guard nods like the week has a rhythm. It does. I'm drumming it. In a small room, the producer slides me a vendor packet with stickies where to sign. Accounting's awake, she says. 3 more shots by Friday and we talk month 2. Done, I say. The supervisor points at a monitor. We need motion this time here, crowd. Parallax. If you cheat, cheat where directors cheat. I'll cheat where eyes forgive, I say. We plug the beige tower in. 10 wears the Maya face and the pro Ines tone. I show a test. He leans in. He doesn't see the scene. He exhales. Okay, paper, signature. PO becomes actual money soon, not just a rumor. The number on the line makes my ribs hurt less. Bring your own box every time the supervisor says, our IT drags like mud. Copy 1118. One infinite loop. Bobby Fickus, same table. The notebook and 2 engineers with radio scars. Battery, the woman says. No lies. Truth first, I say. All minus day, honest means trimming the fat. Dark UI saves light. Background dies by default. We teach habits nightly charge as ritual. Radio, the man says. You keep saying hide complexity. Show me. I run Kit V3, the signal bars are simple. The error states are kind. Searching doesn't nag. It reassures and tries again. Offline still lets map share last cache in a strong compass line. You're telling the user they are wrong, he says, surprised. I'm telling them they aren't alone, I say. Steve slips in at the half hour, silent as a verdict. He watches home messages map's wallet. His head tilts at the wallet pulse. 2 asks, he says, make the default gesture do what people already want to do, and stop anything that adds a second button. Default is tap, I say. Second is swipe. Pinch only if it feels like a secret you discover and brag about. He nods once. Monday, we were showing this to 3 execs. Don't embarrass me. I like living more than I like embarrassing you. He almost smiles. Good. Leave the computer. Keep the brain. Done. I hand over the Sharp. It sleeps on the table like it owns the room. Outside sun sharp, air clean. No sedan where I expect it. That's either safety or camouflage. I walk anyway, steady pace, no flinch, logging faces on windows without looking. Rick's phone just pinged at our Nearson Hill, 10 says. He met a man whose car lives in Atherton behind hedges. Name? Unclear. Plate hides behind a dealer frame. But the phone attached to that car belongs to a family foundation with trustees, who share dinners with movie people and bankers. Money and ghosts, I say. Same as always. I don't go there. Not yet. I go to the storage unit. The lock shows a new scratch that isn't mine. The door sensor didn't chirp. Someone tested the door and stopped. Curious, Ken says. Curiosity scales, I say. So do traps. I move the dummy envelope to a different box. I move the camera to a higher angle. I make the mess look like a different mess. Then I leave the door accidentally off by 1 notch again. Evening leans in. Back in the car, I call a number I haven't used in months. Anti-Lynn, I say when she answers. Need a favor. She runs a shipping spot in a strip mall where you can mail a package by a SIM and get a lecture about not wasting your life. She knows everybody who knows everybody in the Chinese half of the bay. Boy, she says, which is her word for me even now, you sound like trouble. Borrow your back room for an hour? I ask, and a scanner for plates pointed at the lot. You pay and bow, she says. And you tell me a good story later. Deal. 6-2 P. Her lot fills with commuters. 2 sedans take the dark corners and face in like they're shy. 10 pulls plates with a camera older than both of us. Rental pool again. New drivers. Same stamps. I buy 3S. I'm in a roll of labels. I sign a name that isn't mine but could be if I had to keep it for a while. I leave with Bell in a paper bag and a story debt. Rick's envelope open at 412. P. 10 reports. Device inside was not ours, so no beacon. But the room Mick heard, it's empty. Then we flush him out. They will try to make me run, I say. We'll walk. Dinner is noodles in a bowl too big for the table and a soda that pretends to be ginger. I eat fast. I listen to the door. I don't look every time it opens. I want to. I don't. Might again. I park to blocks from the unit and wait with the seat back and the cross school. 12:41 p.m. The sensor chirps. Door rolls up. 1 shadow. Different gate. Not Rick. 8 Aller man. He moves like he learned to move on mats. He's better, 10 says. No phone or it's off. Gloves. Red flashlight. Careful. He goes to the box that used to hold the dummy, sees nothing, breathes once. Then he sees the envelope where I moved it because hunters see what they expect. He takes it. He leaves. The door floats down like a slow eyelid. The camera bubble blinks twice. It gives me 3 frames of his face at a bad angle. 10 rotates, brightens, finds a cheekbone scar like a little hyphen. Name 10 says a beat later. Arturo Villas. Private security. Works sometimes for a firm favored by old money with new hobbies. Men low money? Men low money. Good. Now we have 2 faces. We don't follow. Not yet. We let them feel safe with our wrong win. Confidence makes people write their names bigger. I sleep 3 hours in a new motel that smells like old cigarettes and newer soap. Dawn chicks in like a habit you can't break. 9 o'clock. Boom. Boom. Presidio. Shot 2. Crowd. Parallax. Here. 10 eats the track like candy and asks for more. The supervisor doesn't blink at frame 49 because there is no frame 49 problem anymore. 2 down, he says. 1 more by Friday, and we start sending the boring work to someone else. Boring pays rent, I say. Let them pay yours, he says. The check hits net minus 30th. The PO makes it real. The day feels less like a cliff. 11:22. Apple. Dorky V3.5. I added a glance able battery face. No numbers, just a smooth expression that says good almost now. The battery woman doesn't hate it. That's love here. We talk thumb reach. We talk 1 minus hand and 2 minus hand. We talk what happens when a bus hits a pothole and you miss a tap. Snap minus to saves you. Bound scums you. And do forgives you. The room breathes when the demo breathes. Steve appears like a plot point. He watches once. He presses home when he shouldn't because that's who he is. It still feels right. Monday, he says, we show. If a single person in that room says the word stylus out loud, you are allowed to laugh, but only inside. Copy. He leaves. The notebook watches me pack my hands and not the laptop. You sleep? He asks. Between fires, I say. Good, he says. You look like someone who makes people nervous. Did a problem? It's a start. Outside, the air tastes like a new page. I drive to Menlo Park in a route that makes no sense unless you are avoiding sense. I park where I can see Suite 204's lot and pretend to read a map. At 3:10 MP. Rick exits with Arturo. They talk at the curb. No envelope. Arturo laughs. Rick doesn't. They part ways. Arturo heads north. Rick heads inside. A man in a blue blazer meets him at the door. The blazer's watch says money without trying. His haircut says old school. He holds the door with a hand that never shakes. Face, I whisper. 10 is quiet. Then no public photos. House behind hedges. Donor lists with initials only. But his movement graph overlaps too much with a name in the old homicide file that put a hole in your week. My ribs throb like a chorus. Say it. Oh, Lee 10 says. Goes by robber here. Old money. New hands. Like sort. Like silence. I sit with that. The name buzzes like a live wire against bone. Walk away, 10 says softly. We have 2 jobs and 1 heart. Not walking, I say. We're choosing the angle. I leave Menlo Park like I wasn't there. Storage unit. Tools. Foam. Tape. I build a second dummy that looks slightly better than the first, then ruin one corner so it looks realer than real. I write a note and slide it in. Not for you. For me. You can hold it, not own it. Take it and it eats itself. Bring cash if you want to talk. Hey. Provocation 10 says. Invitation, I say. We learn if they want a thing or control. We stage it in a different unit to rose over. New camera bubble. New sensor. New phone that dials a voicemail I control. Bait that tastes like truth again. Dusk. I eat standing up. I stretch the ribs until they complain less. I think about Monday and the 3 execs and the word stylus living like a ghost in the building. I think about ILM in shot 3 and whether I can automate the clean minus up without it showing. I think about Boli in a hotel hallway with plaster dust and a mirror crack in a life that didn't end. Status, I say. Apple emo sharp 10 says. ILM shot 3 40%. Treb armed. Rick at Suite 204th, Arturo off minus grid then on again, now near a gym that teaches expensive punches. Of course he is. Night. The unit breathes. 12:3 Ahem. Boom. The sensor chirps. The door lifts. 2 shadows this time. Arturo and a kid who wants to be Arturo. They take the second dummy and the note. They don't say a word. The phone rings my voicemail. A silent line holds for 6 seconds. Hangs up. Calls again. Hangs up. They leave. The door goes down. The plate we expect rolls away. 10-track cell towers like a shepherd count sheet. Menlo 10 says. Suite 204. I don't follow. I drive 2 empty lins. I pay my bout debt and scan plates until a black Sid and rops off the kid and leaves with just Arturo and Rick inside. The kid walks. He looks like someone who got told to smile less. I step out as he passes. Heard they pay you to carry envelopes, I say. You want to earn the rest? He stops. Frowns. Do I know you? You will if you're unlucky, I say. Or smart. He measures the options. He's young enough to still believe in 3 weight choices. What's the play? Tell Arturo I'll meet him where cops drink coffee, I say. Tomorrow. Noon. I talk. He listens. He tells Rick he handled it. Everyone laughs. The kid tries not to smile. Fails a little. You talk like movies. I work in them, I say. He shrugs. Name? Call me Jay. He walks. He doesn't look back. He texts with one hand and pockets the phone like it bit him. Risky, Ken says. Live, I say. Back in the room that isn't home, I lie on the bed with the cross under my palm and the next 3 days mapped on the ceiling. Monday, Apple execs. Friday, I Ilm shot 3. Between them Arturo at a cop cafe tomorrow, Rick in a glass office that launders fear, and a man behind hedges who has a name I can't forget. Priority 10 says, soft as a dial tone. Survive, I say. Ship. And steer. Nude. Fluorescent diner. Bad pie under a glass dome. To cops at the counter killing time with refills. I take the back booth. Wall to my right. Door in view. Cross school against my chest. 10. I whisper, record, compress, dump to the dead drop every 60 seconds. Rolling, 10 says. Noise bed engaged. The straw dispenser hums like an AC unit. White noise. Good cover. Arturo walks in first. Clean jacket. Gym shoulders. No rush. The kid from last night trails, trying to look like furniture. Rules. Before he sits hands on the table. Order something so the waitress likes us. We talk 90 seconds. Then you decide. He orders black coffee and a slice of nothing. Sits. Hands where I can see them. Good student. Your note, he says. Clear enough, I ask. He nods. Clear enough to get Rick mad. Where is he? Parking, Arturo says. He wanted to come in loud. I didn't. Good choice. I slide a napkin over, fold it twice. On it a simple line. The next everyday one pocket's cream for calls, music, maps, money, and I untap and you're in. Everything else is an app. Pretty, Arturo says. What is it? Rent, I say. And a future. He taps the napkin once like he's testing paper for secrets. Rick thinks you stole something that belonged to his boss. I didn't, I say. I own it. It's tied to me. Try to force it and it eats itself. Arturo studies my face. He's good at measuring fear. I give him none. Not today. Who's the boss? I ask because I want to hear it from him. He doesn't say Rolly. He says, aid owner. Cute, I say. Here's the play. Your donor stops following me. No more drives. No more calls to Mertels. If he wants a conversation, he sends you with cash and a day rate. You stand between me and people who don't listen well. You're trying to hire me from inside my job, he says. I'm trying to move you from risk to retainer, I say. You like showing up after the mess or keeping the mess small? He almost smiles. You talk like a director. I work for people who pretend to be gods, I say. Here's your 90 seconds. He waits. I let the silence sit until it wants to leave. Your daughter thinks there's a box that gives him control, I say. There isn't. There's only a box that multiplies mine. If he steals it, it burns. If he breaks me, others notice. Apple notices. ILM notices. Reporters who can smell a story through glass notice. Menlo hates attention. You know this. Arturo's eyes flick to the counter. The cop laughs. The room stays boring on purpose. Your leverage? He asks. To POS in a meeting on Monday, I say. Plus the fact that I'm not the one who pulled a gun in a hotel hallway. That lands. His eyes come back to me with a new weight. You think that was us? I think it wasn't random, I say. And I think the person who paid for it hates loose ends. The bell over the door rings. Rick slides in like a man who lost a bet. He clocks the cops. He clocks me. He clocks Arturo. He doesn't clock the straw dispenser hum. Stand, Rick says to Arturo. No, Arturo says. Rick looks at me. You send notes like a kid. You open envelopes like a thief, I say. The waitress arrives with coffee. Perfect timing. She drops creamers in a smiley face because that's the kind of place this is. Rick waits for her to leave. Good instincts. Here's how it goes, Rick says. You hand it over. We all stop being annoyed. Which it? I ask. The thing you think makes you bulletproof. I don't think that, I say. I think daylight makes you clumsy. He tilts his head. Cute. You running to press? No, I say. I'm running to Monday. You know, one infinite loop? They do need tours. He hates that. His jaw shows it. I don't look at the front window, but I know it's happening there. 10 whispers in my ear. Officer at pump is walking towards Rick's sedan. Ticket book open. I mailed a plate yesterday. Expired tags. Anonymous tip. Not illegal. Just honest. Rick's burner buzzes. He checks. He swears quiet. He looks at me like I threaded the world. Sit, I tell him. 40 minus 5 seconds. Then go handle your tags. He sits because he wants the last word later. You work for someone who thinks he can buy silence and eat consequence, I say. He can't. I'm offering a cheaper option distance. You hand off to Arturo. He brings cash and questions. I bring answers I can sell twice. You're extorting, Rick says. I'm invoicing, I say. Difference is tone. Arturo's coffee arrives. He sips like it's tea. The kid picks at crust like a nervous metronome. Rick leans in. You don't know who you're poking. I do, I say. He likes our new money, old power. He hates headlines. He keeps friends who used to carry badges. Rick's laugh is dry. You think that scares me? It calibrates you, I say. Look, I raise a hand. A cop at the counter glances overboard, sees nothing, looks back. Perfect. You're not my problem, I say. You're a symptom. I'm offering you a way to look good to your donor. I made it go quiet. I found us a handle. I got us in the room without cameras, where you can keep chasing me and run out of plates. Rick stands. He's angry, but he's not dumb. Noon tomorrow, he says. Same time, different place. No, I say. Arturo tomorrow. You never again. That's my rate. He wants to say something that proves he's still the loudest person in the room. He doesn't. The cop outside is already writing the ticket. He leaves a 5 on the table because people like him think tips are absolution. He goes. Silence returns like a friend who knows not to hug. Arturo watches him go. Then he looks at me. Cash, he says. You mentioned it. Envelope, I say. Plain. No ink. You bring it to a public place with security cameras that don't delete easily. You sit. You listen. You leave with homework. Amount? Enough to make Rick mad, I say. Not enough to make your donor think he bought a soul. He considers. Tomorrow, he says. Pick the cafe, I say. Text the kid's number. I'll read it. He stands. You just put me between a donor and a cop's favorite customer. I put you between 2 kinds of stupid, I say. Pick the one that pays for your gym. He snorts. Leaves. The kid lingers half a breath longer. You really work in movies? He asks. Today, I say. He grins. That 3- second thing online? People are arguing if it's fake. Good, I say. Let them argue. They're gone. I pay. I leave a bigger tip because absolution isn't the point, insurance is. Outside, 10 runs me the tape clean audio. White noise master named twice when Rick got close. Good. Also, 10 says, Apple Calendar shows a triple minus book for Monday. 3 execs. 1 is famous for hating pens. Perfect, I say. We'll bring fingers. Afternoon is ILM. Shot 3 is hair and crowd noise and a camera that can't hold still. 10 eats the wobble. I sell the blink. The supervisor nods like a man who just found a 20 in last year's jacket. Week 2 if this lands, he says. It'll land. Back to Apple. Dork, it now feels like a thing you can't remember not having. Ho, messages maps wallet ID. No extra buttons. No lies about battery. Radio masks the mess. The battery woman tries my demo with her thumb at a bad angle. It still snaps to the right thing. She grins by accident. Okay, she says. Monday won't kill us. Monday will make us, I say. Evening. Storage unit. The door scratch is new again. The sensor didn't chirp. They're testing the tests. Good. I move the camera a 3rd time. I bury a 2nd sensor under the floor mat. I put a note on the wall in Chinese that says please don't steal because sometimes humor buys you seconds. Status, I say. Arturo Jim, then a drive south. 10 says. Rick tags handled, then Menlo. Bo, Ease residence dinner guest. Tonight 2 cars, 1 driver you already like. I'm not crashing dinner, I say. Tomorrow. My burner buzzes. I know number. No voice. Just a photo of the back half of me from a distance in Apple's lobby. Someone's test of reach. Caption busy week. I send back a photo of a whiteboard sketch home at the bottom. 1 circle, no other hardware. The line on top, the next every day, I don't add words. No reply. Threat moves. 10 says. Good, I say. Moving things make noise. I sleep 3 hours again because habits keep you alive but not rested. Dawn. Bow at Auntie Lynn's. She slaps my arm with a spoon. You look thin and expensive, she says. I'm trying a new diet, I say. Eat more, she says. And stop making my cameras famous. Can't do both, I say. She laughs like a small storm. 10 pings. Text from the kid. Tomorrow noon. Cafe with too many cameras. Arturo brings an envelope. Nice, I say. The rest of the day is small pieces polished for Monday. A call with a lawyer who says the words consulting and indemnify like they're flavors of tea. A stop at a hardware store for better luck that looks cheap. A 2nd envelope with a note for Rick that says don't come. That's the point. Just puts gold on the glass. I park where I can see suite 204 and pretend to read the sports page. Rick exits with a man in a blue blazer who moves like he never had to be quick. Oh, Lee, no. Another proxy. The blazer shakes his hand like a boss in a movie who pays other people to have fingerprints. Plate? I whisper. Registered to a charity with a 5- letter name that donates to museums. 10 says. Money that smiles. I keep reading. They keep moving. No one looks at me. That's a win. Mate, the unit door breathes. 12p. Ooh. The floor sensor chirps softly in my pocket. The top sensor is quiet. Someone worried. Good. I get 3 frames of Arturo's ball cap in one of the kids' ear. They take nothing. They leave a business card on the table. Front a generic eagle. Back tomorrow. New. Bring your words. Under it. A number that will live for 12 hours and then be gone. I'll live, 10 says. Playing, I say. I put the card under the cross on the table and let the weight of both mean something. Tomorrow we sell reality twice, I say. Apple and Arturo. Priority remains, 10 says. Survive, I say. Ship and steer. Morning. Parking lot quiet. Air cold enough to wait teeth. One infinite loop at 845th badge. Vicus. Same table. Powerbook waiting like a cat that picked me. 10, I whisper. 60- second loop, no wobble. Locked, 10 says. Messages, maps, wallet ID. Bound student. Snap tune. The notebook arrives with 3 execs. Hardware guy in a gray tee. Services guy with perfect hair. Ops woman with eyes that measure waist. Steve last. Black turtleneck. No preamble. 90 seconds, he says. Go. I run it clean. The next everyday one pocket's cream for calls, music, maps, money, and I done tapping you're in. Everything else is an app. Messages tap, blue bubble reply. Maps like coffee, pins pop, go. Wallet taps, off thump ding. I done glance done. 60 seconds exactly. No extra moves. No extra words. Hardware guy tries to press a second button and that doesn't exist. Finds home. Smiles. Services guy taps at a bad angle. Snap saves him. Ops woman watches my hands, not the screen. Battery, she says. Truth, I say. All minus deized. Charge nightly like brushing teeth. Dark UI, radios that nap. Animations only when watched. Radio, hardware says. Hide the scars, I say. Bars, not acronyms. Offline maps with a compass line. Calls that, try again. No error 43, human words. Services guy clears his throat. Stylist? Steve cuts him with a glance. No. I grin inside. Outside I keep it plain. Fingers, only I say. Fat thumbs welcomed. Targets big. Edges bounce. Ops woman picks up the power book. Feels like it wants to be real. It will be, I say, if you let it stay simple. Silence. Then Steve give him a corner, he says to the notebook. 2 weeks. No promises. If this keeps feeling like this, we go upstairs. The notebook nods. Loner station. No network. No leaks. Consultant badge today. Paperwork after lunch, Steve says. Now leave us. I pack the brain, not the laptop. The cat stays. The room keeps humming. Hallway. Deep breath. My phone buzzes. Unknown number. 1 line text. Nude. Union Square. Cameras everywhere. Arturo. 2 plates today. I tell 10. Apple and Arturo. Running both. 10 says. Also Rick said and got legal overnight. Tags fixed. Cute. 10:30th. Security walks me to a little room with a table, a clean G3 tower, and a chair that rolls too far. Corner office without the view. Good. Corner C rooms. Mask is dorky, I tell 10. Template pack. Add 2 screens, photos, and music. Online, 10 says. Large hit zones. Simple grids. I roughen photos, tiles, swipe, pinch that feels like a secret, share that doesn't ask end questions. Music, big play, big pause, a scrubber that forgives. No equalizer jungle. No tiny crow. The notebook peeks in. 11-40, he says, go take your lunch. Come back at 2. Copy. 11:58th, Union Square. Tourists. Pigeons. Cameras on every corner. A cafe with windows like a movie set. Arturo sits where the cameras can see the whole table. Envelope on the tray. No, Rick. Hands, I say. On the table, he says. He does. I do. We both smile because we're tired. Your envelope, he says, nudging it. I weigh it with a thumb. Cash as a feel. This is right. Not too much. Enough to make Rick mad. You get a receipt, I say. I slide a card across. Consulting day rate cash. Okay. Paper keeps honest people honest. He laughs once. We're low on those. Ground rules, I say. No tails. No motel calls. You ask 1 question per meet. You don't touch my gear. You don't touch me. Question 1, he says. What's in the cross? Me, I say. And something that only runs for me. Can the donor ever own it? No. He nods, like the answer was heavy even knowing it. What does he get if he stops chasing? A seat in the cheap seats, I say. Early heads minus ups, not control. A chance to bet on the right horse without breaking its legs. He looks past me to a reflection in the glass. I don't turn. 10 whispers Rick at curb, staying outside. On the phone. Rick thinks this is a buy, Arturo says. I told him it's a rental. It's neither, I say. It's gravity. You don't own gravity. You build around it. He taps the envelope once. Your turn to ask. I keep it simple. Who paid for the hotel hallway? Arturo's eyes don't move. Not us. Not directly. Beat. But someone told someone to hurry you up. That's done now. Done. I repeat. Good. We sit with noise. He sips coffee he doesn't like. I drink water because I need a voice add to. Next meet, he says. Donor wants a message. He gets a mirror, I say. Message him this, I'm not for sale. I am for rent. And even then, not to him. Arturo smiles. You fellas love rules. I love being alive, I say. We stand. No handshake. Cameras get the goodbye. He leaves north. Rick peels off south. We all pretend the city is normal. Deposit route? I ask 10. Cash Blick 10 says, 3 drops, 3 banks. No flags. Do it. Back to Apple. 158th. The corner room hums different now that it's mine for a bit. I run to Keep V4. Photos feels like a shoebox that never loses pictures. Music feels like a pocket radio that knows you. The battery woman swings by. Fat fingers test, she says, grabbing the trackpad. She tries to miss. Snap saves her again. She snorts, approving. Monday's done, she says. Next radio truth. Tomorrow, I say. Tomorrow, she agrees, already gone. 3/10, the notebook sits. Services wants a store screen, he says, making air quotes. Don't call it a store. Call it App Store later, I say. For now, get more. Gentle words. He thinks. Nods. Gentle works. We add a simple tile that says get more. It opens to a page with 3 big cards, games, tools, news. A search bar that doesn't ask for a degree. A price tag that doesn't look loud. No ads, the notebook says. No ads, I echo. For 40th, Steve walks in alone. He taps home. He taps get more. He smiles at the word and walks past it. 2 weeks, he says. Then I show this to someone who will yell at me if it smells like a toy. Make it smell like tomorrow. I know, that smell, I say. He starts to leave, stops. And no pins, he adds deadpan. I keep a straight face. No pins. He leaves. I breathe. The room is quiet the way a stage is quiet before the band hits. My phone buzzes. Unknown. A photo again, the back of my storage unit door. The scratch I didn't make. Caption you like traps. So do we. I text back a shot of the fake cameras from noon. Caption me too. Then I turn the phone off and take the battery out for an hour. Old minus school. Status, I till 10. Apple green, 10 says. I am waiting on plate 3 at 9. Ooh, tomorrow. Arturo, solo drive south. Gian, home. Rick, Menlo, suite 204, then a house with hedges. Bo, East phone off. Landline active. Good. I pack nothing because nothing leaves this room and walk out with only my hands and the cross. Dinner is burrito, parking lot, open trunk, map spread like a plan. I write 3 words on a sticky and stick it to the inside of the lid. Survive. Ship. Steer. I move the cartwise, then go to Auntie Lynn's to pay for more bow I don't need. She does. You look like somebody's plan, she says. I hope so, I say. Might. Storage unit. New lock. New scratch the next time I look anyway. I let them have the scratch. I keep the camera. I sleep with the cross under my palm and the chair under the handle. Tomorrow I tell 10. Battery truth 10 says. Radio truth. Shot 3. And the message for the donor. Right, I say. Fingers only. Morning. Presidio first. Shot 3 on deck. We plug in. 10 wears the Maya mask. I hit play. Hair, crowd, jitter, clean. The supervisor scrubs frame by frame, waiting for a scene that doesn't show. Week 2, he says. PO today. Wire tomorrow. Good, I say. Options oxygen. 955 Ooh. 1 infinite loop. Corner room. G 3 hour. Dork at V for point 1. Battery woman. Radio guy. The notebook. Battery first, she says. Truth first, I say. All minus day honest. Dark UI, radio snap, animations only when watched. At low power mode, 1 tap, fewer tricks, more hours. She nods. Name stays. Color later. Radio, the guy says. We hide sharp edges, I say. Bars, not alphabet soup. Airplane mode kills noise clean. Offline map show last cache plus a compass line. Calls auto minus retry once, then use human words. He raises an eyebrow. Human words? Still trying. Try again, not error minus 43. The notebook taps the table. Field test? Hidden screen, I say. Engineers get numbers. Users get calm. Small win. Feels big. We test with lefty, the fake hand. Grip kills signal UI doesn't panic. Bounce. Still bounces. Snap still saves bad taps. Battery woman smiles without meaning to. Okay, she says. Monday didn't kill us. This won't either. 11:40th, job slides in, watches a loop, points at airplane mode. Good label, he says. No pins. No new buttons. Keep going. He leaves like a door closing right. My phone buzzes. Text from the kid new. Saying cafe is Sunday. Envelope. Just a 2 plates again, I tell 10. Apple, Arturo. Running both, 10 says. I Illimwire pending. 12 third cafe. Windows. Cameras. Arturo sits where the angles are best. Envelope on the tray. Hands, I say. On the table, he says. We both do. He nudges the envelope. Cash. Receipt. I slide a card consulting day rate cash okay. He snorts signs anyway. Donor's message, he says. He wants proof your toy really eats itself. It's not a toy, I say, and I don't do party tricks. Then do a safe one, he says. Dummy. On camera. He sleeps better. Tonight, I say. Public place. You film. It burns. Arturo taps the table once. Deal. My turn, I say. He leaves Anti-Lin alone. She's not in this movie. He looks at me, then away. I'll say it, he says. He'll hear what he wants. Make him hear it. We stand. No handshake. Cameras get the goodbye. Rick is not in sight. Good or bad, can't tell. Back to Apple. Corner room. Photos gets smoother. Music forgives fat thumbs. Get more stays gentle. The notebook pokes in. We'll need a tape, he says. 2 minutes. No music. Show the feel. Tomorrow. Tomorrow, I echo. Got it. I call the Presidio. Wire. Clear, producer says. Hits in the morning. For 40th jobs again. Short. 2 weeks of quiet, he says. Then upstairs. Don't make me explain why this isn't a toy. I'll make them feel it, I say. He leaves. My phone buzzes. Photo the back door of Auntie Lynn's shop. Caption nice cameras. I text back a still from Noon's cafe angles. Me too. Then battery out for an hour. Old school. Night. Storage row. We pick a unit with sprinklers and nothing flammable nearby. Arturo shows with a cheap camcorder and a face that says he argued with a louder man. Rules. I say. You stand there. 1 take. No touching me. No touching it. He nods. Red laid on. I set the dummy cross on the table. I put on gloves. I flip the latch wrong on purpose. Wrong owner, 10 says in my ear. Trigger armed. The LED on the dummy pulses once, then again, then dies. The shell warms and slumps, a little safe foam melt like a chocolate left in a pocket. Arturo films clean. No cuts. He steps closer, cautious. Proof, I say. Wrong hands. No joy. He exhales. He'll hate it. He'll also stop asking to grab you in parking lots. Good, I say. Next, if he wants words, he sends our real name. No more shells. He gets distance, not control. Arturo pockets the tape. You're making my job weird. I'm making it easy, I say. We keep things small. He goes. I leave 10 minutes later in a different direction. 10 hubs. The unit cools. The phone sets. No fire. No drama. 11 went ya. MP. Boo. Well. Door locked. Chair wedged. Cross school. My burner buzzes. Unknown number. 1 line. Tomorrow 3p. Balloon. Suite 204th. 5 minutes. No Rick. Bo Lee, I ask. Likely 10 says. Voice gateway matches a house line. 3p. I say. 5 minutes. Risk 10 says. Always. I sleep 3 hours. Bail. Anti-Lin swats me with a spoon. E2, she says. I do. 9 o'clock, Presidio. Shot 3, final. Supervisor watches still frames like tarot. Send the invoice, he says. Start the next. Month 2, producer adds. Welcome to boring work that pays. Favorite kind, I say. 11/10th Apple. Radio guy wants a field test switch. Battery woman wants the low power icon to look calm, not scared. We pick words that forgive. 240th, Menlo Park. Suite 200 for lot. I park 2 blocks away and walk easy. To 59th, I step in. Lobby is money minus and minus a minus sweater. A receptionist smiles like a secret. Valley Heritage Trust on the wall says charity. The carpet says otherwise. Suite 204, I say. She points. Straight, left. 3's Earth door opens as I reach it. Blue blazer. Older. Steady. Not pretending to be friendly. Robert, he says. No hand. 5 minutes. Office is glass and quiet. A painting that costs a car. No cameras I can see. So there are cameras. He sits. I don't. You have something, he says. I have me, I say. And work you can't buy. You'll sell it. I'll rent it, I say. Through work. Through time. Not to you. He studies my face like a ledger. You're young. Old enough to be expensive, I say. You sent a little film, he says. It melted. On purpose, I say. Wrong owner, wrong latch. He tilts his head. You think Apple makes you safe? No, I say. Apple makes you loud if you keep being stupid. Silence. He hates the word and respects the leverage. Your aunt shop, he says. Not part of this, I say. Say her name again and I go public in a way you can't tax minus deduct. His jaw sets. Then loosens. You're annoying. I ship, I say. Annoyance is free. He stands. 2 rules, he says. Don't make me a headline. Don't make me repeat myself. 3 rules back, I say. Don't touch me. Don't touch mine. If you want to turn at the wheel, you ask Arturo. Day rates, public place. We stare. The clock ticks like a metronome for the rich. Finally, you have 2 weeks, he says. Impress whoever you're trying to impress. Then I decide if you stay interesting. I'll still be expensive, I say. He almost smiles. Almost. Get out, he says. I get out. Lobby air tastes like dry money. Outside, I breathe for real. Record, I ask. Clean enough, 10 says. Mix. In the painting, but we swallowed them with fan noise. Played on Robert's car charity show. Driver same pool. Good. Back to Apple. Corner room. I get a tiny and do that forgives a bad swipe without shouting about it. It feels like kindness. It feels like now. The notebook peeks in. 2 minute tape, he says. Tomorrow at 10. We show upstairs. Copy. Mate. Storage unit. New lock, same scratch. A fresh business card waits on the table. Front eagle. Backstay, interesting. No number. I laugh once. Then I write 3 words on the inside of the unit door. Small. Survive. Ship. Steer. Tomorrow, I tell 10. 2 minute tape, 10 says. Then upstairs. Am I yell, am I at? Boring work that pays. I'll live work, 10 says. Fingers only, I say. We keep going. Morning. To minute tape first. Corner room. G3 hour. Dork at V for point 2. No music, I tell 10. Just taps, thumbs chime. Recording, 10 says. We shoot it clean. Hum. Messages tap, blue bubble, reply. Hum. Maps type coffee, pins pop go. Hum. Wallet taps off thump ding. Hum. I don't glance done. 60 seconds. Repeat with photos and get more. 2 minutes total. No wobble. Export, I say. Ready, 10 says. 10's Earth. Elevator ride. New floor. Glass, white, silence. Upstairs. Big room. Long table. Steve at the head. Hardware, gray tea. Services, perfect hair. Up sharp eyes. Plus 3 more design guy with a pencil. Software chief with a stare. Hardware boss who looks like he can smell heat. No handshakes. 90 seconds live, 2 minutes tape. Steve says, no pens. Yes, I say. I run it live. The line first. The next everyday 1 pocket screen for calls, music, maps, money, and I done tap and you're in. Everything else is an app. Home messages, maps wallet, ID. No extra moves. No extra words. I stop at 058th, breathe. Tape, Steve says. I hit play. Room audio only taps. Swipe here, 1 soft thump a chime. No soundtrack. The thing plays like it already exists and just forgot to ship. Silence after. Heavy, useful silence. Hardware, gray tea breaks it. Was back. Top minus left swipe, I say. Edge bounce. You feel it. No label. Design pencil nods. Feels like gravity, not chrome. Services hair carriers will demand their brand. Then they don't ship, I say. Or we bury the demand behind setup. Users, see 1 face. Upsize battery, all -day honest, I say. Dark UI, radios nap. Low power, 1 tap. Numbers for us, feelings for them. Software chief security, PIN. Wipe, lock after idle. App same box. No error, -43 human words. Hardware boss radio. Bars, not alphabet soup, I say. Field test hidden. Airplane mode kills, noise clean. Offline maps keep you moving. Design pencil buttons. 1. Home, I say. Maybe volume. Maybe mute. That's it. Steve watches faces, not me. He likes reactions more than answers. He points at the power book. Hands. Each exact rise it. Bad angles. Fat thumbs. Snap save them. Edgebound says enough without shouting. Wallet Pulse gets a small involuntary smile from Ops. That's the sound we needed. Steve looks back at me. 2 weeks in a corner, he says. No promises. No leaks. We hate noise. I like a live, I say. The room exhales. Meeting over without a word, like approved. Outside, hallway air tastes new. The notebook walks me back to the corner room. Loner station is yours, he says. 2 engineers after lunch. Don't train them to be loud. I'll train them to be useful. Phone buzz. Text from the kid, no tails today. 2- day pause. Donor has your melt tape. Arturo delivered, I tell 10. Window 10 says, use it. 11:30th Presidio call. Wire hit, I ask. Hitting by 4, producer says. Week 2 begins. Options oxygen. Lunch at the campus cafe. Soup you can pronounce. I sit near the window, back to the wall, eyes on the door. Habit not fear. 2 new friends, 10 says. Battery woman, radio guy inbound. We sip. No small talk. Low power icon, she says. Make it calm, not panic. A leaf, I say. Or a moon. A leaf, she decides. Moon is sleep. Radio guy, field test on a hidden aisle. We keep the numbers. I keeps the soul. Deal. Afternoon, we build. Low power becomes a leaf. Field test hides behind a dial code. Get more stays gentle. Photos forgives stupid. Music forgives fat thumbs. 3/20th. Text from Arturo, 2 rules accepted. No headlines. No repeats. He wants a win later. He wants a leash, I say. Then we keep hours tighter, 10 says. For 5th, wire lands. ILM confers. Start boring batch, supervisor emails. Fast, invisible, on time. Boring pays rent. Rent buys quiet. 5/10 Steve drifts through, taps home, taps get more, taps back. 2 weeks, he repeats. Smell like tomorrow. Yes, he's gone. I sketch a 1- page poster for the wall. 1 device. 1 button. 1 tap. Everything else in app. Tape it up. Stare at it till it feels stupid. If it still holds after that, it's good. Phone buzz. Photo. The back of Auntie Lynn's shop. Caption camera Z. Ice and back, the coffee camera grid. Caption me too. Battery out. Old minus school. Dinner is a burrito in the car. Map on the trunk. 3 words on the sticky. Survive. Ship. Steer. Mate. Storage unit. New lock. New scratch anyway. A note under the door. Stay interesting. I laugh once. 10 doesn't. Tomorrow, I say. Battery leaf ships and demo, 10 says. Field test hides. ILM shop for InQ. Quiet window holds for 48 hours. Good. I sleep with the cross under my palm and the chair under the handle. Habit keeps me here. Morning again. Bow. Spoon Midas swat from Auntie Lynn. Eat 2, she orders. 9's Erith apple. 2 engineers show up with laptops and caffeine. I point at the poster. I point at the power book. Rules, I say. No new buttons. No pen. Fat thumbs, okay. Human words. Dark saves battery. If it takes longer than a breath, we're wrong. They nod. They move fast. Good. We wire and do into more places. We tighten maps scroll. We polish photos pinch so it feels like a secret, not homework. We add a tiny spring to home. The circle is a promise, not a trap. Radio guy swings by, hides his grin when airplane mode just works. Battery woman taps low power and says nice without trying to. Tomorrow we record a longer tape, the notebook says. 3 minutes. No music. Like VO, maybe. VO is 1 line, I say. No adjectives. He smirks. Try me. 11:30th Presidio. Call only. Plate for ready? Supervisor asks. Tonight, I say. Same mask. Fresh math. Invoice rolling, producer says. Week 2 good. 2's Erith, text from Arturo kid says Rick wants his own 5 minutes. You say no? No, I text. He can send a letter. He can pay Arturo to read it to a plant. 2/5, reply lol. Small wins. For 40th, Steve again quick. You get 2 rooms tomorrow, he says. 1 to record. 1 to rehearse. Make me not have to talk. Deal. He leaves me with that weight. It's a good weight. I run the loop until my thumb has a groove. Hope messages maps wall, a tidy photos get more. No fat. No wobble. Feel over features. Tom over clever. Sun down. Storage unit. I open, check, close. No new scratch. Good. Status I ask. Apple green, 10 says. I'll play for tonight. Deliver by noon. Arturo quiet. Rick quiet. Robert quiet. Quiet as a tale too, I say. Yes, 10 says. But we move. We do. Next day. Record room. Phone, lights, a camera on a tripod. The notebook wants a line of VO. I give him one. Tap once. It just works. Everything else can wait. Run 3 takes. Taps. Thump. Chime. No music. No fluff. It feels like a future that forgot to brag. Upstairs, small audience. Steve, the earlier crew, plus a finance guy who counts while he breathes. I play the 3-minute cut. The room stays still. Finances price without looking up. Simple, I say. 2 SKS, 1 price difference you can explain to your mother. Sell the feeling, not the sheet. Ops service? Start with the core, I say. And yet more becomes the thing that pays the rent forever. Design pencil will need a name. You will, I say, and keep my mouth shut before I say phone out loud. Steve breaks the silence. Cora keeps, he says, 2 more weeks. Then we show a room that hates stories. He stands. Don't make me talk. Fingers only, I say. He almost smiles. Fingers only. Outside, my phone lights up. Our tour window extended 72 hours. Stay interesting was real. Donor wants to see a thing in 2 weeks. Not a pin. A feeling. Perfect, I text. That's all I sell. Presidio pings wire landed. Apple pings badge extended. Anti-Lin pings with a photo of Bao. Caption eat. I laugh. I eat. I work. I sleep 3 hours. We keep going.